Amy?
Yeah.
Go to, you just
You can turn there and then you can only.
Yes, I just think that
That would be great, right?
Problem.
I just take a step back,
Trying to get out of here.
and I hope that more of us do.
I think we would.
I'm jumping.
Yeah.
That's,
I think I should have a.
that's the one. I mean, I know that building doesn't make it, but it's
With the
something about.
congregation.
Otherwise, you know, you got somebody going this.
Didn't have time to read.
So I think that we'll, we'll go back to some of the things, but
Yeah, and there's no stop
I'm
sign,
hearing others that are saying,
lights, there's
bring it
no
on, let's go.
Well,
stop sign here, but
I mean,
They're going out of.
I do in the
Yeah.
sense of like,
Yeah.
again, what I said,
Right.
restaurants, sporting events, like high school games and.
I just don't wanna do everything I've gotta get.
that's gonna be a busy one.
All right, it's 7:02. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Planning Commission, January 7th. The first item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, so let's stand and
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our next item is roll call.
Ms. Dobson? Here. Mr. Earhart?
Here.
Mr. Mitchell?
Here.
Mr. Aravalo?
Here,
Ms. Palm?
Here.
Mr. Sly?
Here.
Ms. Squire?
Here.
Mr. Welsh?
Here.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. The next item is the approval of agenda as it stands. Are there any changes? If not, we just need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the agenda. Second.
Okay, we have a motion that's been seconded to approve the agenda as it stands. Start the voting on the left.
Aye.
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 Motion passes seven.
Whoa, aye.
You got
Oh.
Janelle down there. She got the look and table.
Here's, it's like me, I can barely see you. Short people are disadvantaged. Okay, so we have 8-0, thanks, Janelle. So that passes 8-0. The next item, citizen participation. We don't have anybody signed up to speak. So we'll go to the formal commission action. The approval of the minutes from our December 3rd meeting. Does anybody have any issues with the minutes from that meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes from December 3rd.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion that's been seconded to approve the minutes from our December 3rd meeting. Start the voting on the left.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Motion passes 8-0. The next item on our formal agenda is the site plan SP-000041 2020 Quick Trip. Mr. Burton, you have the floor.
All right, thank you and good evening. Hope everyone had a good holiday and ready to get after it now, so. What we have tonight is 41-2020. It's a Quick Trip site plan. We've talked about it several times and, haven't really been able to look at it until they actually, send in an application. And as any major or good corporation, you know, a lot of it was kept until they made sure that everything worked for them as well as for the city. So staff appreciates everything that Quick Trip has presented to us, all their personnel, everybody, consultants have been very professional and would get us anything that we needed. So it's a 9.4 acre site. It's Quick Trip. Unfortunately, Jessica has COVID, so Eric is here, Quick Trip. Thank you for showing up. Appreciate it. So if there's any questions that you can answer, they are here to answer it. So the number of lots are 2. It's a CP2 zoning district. It was zoned, I really couldn't find out the exact date, but it was zoned back in 2011-12. So, and in that proposed use of CP2 or C2 usage, convenience stores are allowed. So what we have is a site plan and as you can see, the zoning the areas from Ames and the zoning. The site plan is included in the packet and up on the screen. So, the little bit of background, Quick Trip, like I said, they've submitted their application for approval of a 4993 square foot building on 7.76 of the 9.4 acres. The remaining acres are for a future lot. The property is zoned CP2 as we had discussed, and that is Planned General Business District. In accordance to the guidelines of the Spring Hill zoning ordinance and the comp plan, all the lot lines are identified, property lines are identified. Proposed structures and locations, all parking, traffic areas, as well as a traffic study has been provided to you. Utilities are available, although sewer will have to be extended, and it is shown on your site plan. Exterior lighting, we have a photometrics already there, and we will also, as always, we will check all the lighting at building permit and before final occupancy. Consultants and utility providers have provided, as well as staff, have provided their comments, and they have been implemented in the plan, in the site plan. To the extent which it conforms to the code, it does conform to the zoning ordinance as I spoke about. Conforms to the provisions in the subdivision regulations. It does to the C2, which is a CP2, which is just a planned district of the C2. The extent where it would be compatible with the surrounding area. Obviously, this type of use is compatible with the surrounding area. It's shown on our comp plan. And a convenience store is generally, especially with a name like this, is compatible with residential, which is across the street to the east. Customary engineer design standards, all of it, and it's all included in your plans. We still have the calculations. We have them in, they just haven't been finished through with the city engineering. And anything that would need to be changed, we can do that through the process of looking at the engineering standards for stormwater, sewer, and all that improvements. Streets and all locations, pathways, driveways. It was designed with the input of the traffic study, city review, and KDOT really looked it over 2 or 3 times, back and forth, and finally, Quick Trip Corporation did change a lot of things for the KDOT requests. So, like I said, sanitary lift will be built on site. Water's going to be supplied by Water One, and the sanitary will be owned by the city. Entrance via Webster at 199th, and also Webster, as you can see, the Y-type, one in and out, one way in, one way out type of design that was required by KDOT. Site plan indicates 63 and 3, requires 15 and 1 in accordance to the code. Park impact fee will be the amount of $33,872.26. No excise tax will be owed on this. It is already a platted ground with no splits. Although it does show 2 lots, it still is under a planned district. You're allowed to have multiple lots within a planned district. Pole sign and monument sign are shown. We will look at those again, just to make sure that it meets all the requirements, and then KDOT will be reviewing a lot of them as well. Planning Commission recommend approval of the site plan application to the governing body, recommend denial of the application, and notify the applicant of such action, table it, notify applicant of a specific time and date. It's recommended by staff that Planning Commission approve 41-2020 and send it on to the governing body for consideration. Any questions?
If you don't mind, I think for my benefit, maybe some of the other members here, maybe go in a little more depth about the KDOT requirements and what
Sure.
traffic study. We noticed there was 3 different outcomes from the
Right,
traffic study.
so in progression is what that was, and the KDOT, one, we took in consideration of future plans for that intersection. Proposed uses, and it was originally proposed as also to have truck fueling, which would be just to the south. If you can look at the plot or at the site plan, you can see there's quite a bit of ground to the south. They've left that there in consideration for future approval or action to put in truck fueling, diesel truck fueling, or large truck, let me put it that way. So, in looking at that, it went back and forth and then with KDOT and, looking at every consideration, on some of that, corners, they have to put 8 foot of extenuating asphalt in case the trailer, we've all seen semis and they go. So, but other than that, what the traffic study does indicate is where 199th ties into Webster, that obviously not right now, but in the future, with more development of that property right there or development of future property downstream of this, meaning to the south on Webster, that there would most likely be a signalization required at that. So I've been consulting with city engineers and all on it, and what we have, and KDOT on this as well. They sent me to Mark, Project Greenlight. I had never heard of it, a scout camera project and all that. And if you remember coming out of the proposed apartments at 201st Street, we also had a major signalization light there. Well, I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to make a mess there, but it really actually helps because then they will sequence those lights, or they won't really sequence them in sequence where they all are on at one time, but they will stage them and everything will work together on those 3 signals. Until at the time if KDOT ever becomes relevant in changing the intersection. And at this time, KDOT takes care of that signalization, which they take care of very few in the entire state of Kansas. And we're fortunate that they do because it is quite the cost to maintain them. And so in that case, it's a little easier. I don't want to say super easy, but it is a little easier to work with Mark, work with KDOT, and the city involvement all in one. And I would imagine that eventually, by the time Mark and KDOT hopefully fund it, the new signalization and all, then the city will have to start maintaining signalization. But until then, everybody works hand in hand without us having to put our hand in there. Answer your question or just confuse?
No, that helps a lot, I think.
Confuse me, so.
There might be more questions about the traffic
Sure,
study.
that's no, well. I'll just elaborate a little bit more. I didn't write a book for you guys on this one. Obviously the landscaping is way over designed in accordance to our standards, so I didn't put that in there. And, I hope you all had a chance to look through it. You can see that it's, a Quick Trip type store and we didn't ask them to, put anything fancy or anything like that. So it's a real nice facility and we look forward to working with them.
When you're coming up north on Webster to make a left onto that road that has the cul-de-sac there, is there going to be a turn lane in the middle of Webster to make that left? Or are they just gonna be in the middle of the lane?
No, it's a widened area, but that is that'll be part of the signalization process when we take both sides. Because there's plenty of ground right there on both sides. And what I mean both sides, the 199th side and the private cul-de-sac road. Now, there is still some discussion, as you can see from the cul-de-sac, do you see how it kind of outlines up to the next property line? There is still some discussion right now, that's why all that's temporary, in connecting that to the apartments. And if that were to come to fruition, it would help in establishing an area-wide signalization and improvements on that right-of-way. Immediately, right-of-way and immediately, so.
But as of right now, there is no turn lane making a left.
No,
turn.
that's correct.
Yeah, okay.
And that was, obviously, a lot of that was taken away when the truck portion was taken out, large truck portion.
So is that cul-de-sac, is that private or is that city?
Right at this point, it's private.
Okay.
And in still working, I mean, we have a lot of moving parts there with the apartments and all. I anticipate that it possibly could go public.
Well, then if it's private, what's the point of the cul-de-sac? I mean,
Temporary turnaround for fire department and all.
Okay, I thought
Yeah.
it was the other way around. I
No,
thought
there's no
city
dead end.
had to have the cul-de-sac.
No.
Private, you could just,
No, the fire department required it,
okay.
and they
Because
were
I like-
happy
I like the
because it
idea
was
of
like
connecting.
7 foot wider than it needed to be, so they were
Yeah,
very.
I like the idea of it connecting to that future development. of
Right.
the Apartments, I think that'd be nice, and it,
Mhm.
because this, when it's, the cul-de-sac looks unfinished, you know, I'd
Sure.
ask, what's the master plan for that right there?
Right, so, and to give you a little more in-depth on it, you know, in working with the apartments, we all know how large that complex is. And Quick Trip is the one that wants to get going first, and that's great. And what we're also looking at, it's not only the connection road, but sewerization and all, or sewering of the apartment complex, because we all know there has to be another lift station there. Well, I've had discussion, was it Tuesday, Denny was in? I had discussion with a lot of different property owners in there, the Bowery being one of them. And he does have quite a bit of property there along North Street and then down, you know, the Bowery and all that. And trying to form an area wide, instead of having 3 different lift stations, just have 2. And then this lift station over here at Quick Trip, the north end of the apartments goes uphill and then back down towards the Quick. So we would serve the north end of that apartment area to the lift station at Quick Trip and then take it to the new lift station that would serve, I'm gonna say 500 or 600 acres. So. And I mean, it's just moving parts, and it might not come to fruition, you know, you're talking about a lot of money, and some property owners just do not wanna get into that, district, you know. And we also, as you're aware, I'm working with different property owners along there also, we have donut holes in there. That does not help. I did meet with one property owner or representative of one of the properties, and they're seriously considering it. So the farther along we get with that process, it makes it a lot easier also, and everybody getting the benefit from one large sewer district.
If there's no turn lane, as you indicated, into that, 199 crossover,
Sure.
there also is no turn lane into 199. That means that if I'm gonna go to the service station,
Mm-hmm.
I have to wait till the traffic goes by.
That's correct. Yes,
And if I'm
And-
gonna turn the other way, I'm gonna slow down traffic
that is correct.
because there is no turn.
That is correct. And really, know that I talked to Dan Miller yesterday. We're working on a signalization plan there. And he has taken the traffic study. We're going to incorporate the apartments in this traffic study and some other areas there. And hopefully we will have signalization there soon. It just doesn't warrant it. I mean, the traffic study came back and said, so these are discussions that we've had before, is it's hard to go against the professionals on a traffic study and say, well, you're putting in it now, and we all know that it is going to have to be in there sooner or later. It's gonna be just a little
There
later.
also is an merge lane from 199 onto Webster. I mean, going towards the
Highway.
highway. So you have a merging issue there
Mhm.
also.
So,
So if you have people coming out of the service station, turning to go to the freeway,
Right.
and you have somebody from
right,
off
but,
of 199 trying to go the same way, I mean, aren't you creating a traffic issue?
yes, one thing
Because
I
there's no way to
I
merge.
should have put in there is the actual area that KDOT is in charge of, which the city really doesn't have much say on it. If we were to go to Ames, we'll bring that, whoops. Out just a little more. So, on Ames, it shows it somewhat here. Hold up. Anyway, on Ames, and I'll be more than happy to show it to you.
Where's your red dot?
Well, it won't really, oh, wow.
See, that's why we have Amy.
I know it. I'm not very intelligent. Okay. Always show as do not disturb. Did I do that? Do not disturb. There we go. So if we look at Ames here, thank you, Amy, and you're looking at all this, this is all KDOT controlled up to this point right here. All of this across here and down through here, and actually this is a little wider here. That's all under KDOT control. And basically, if I'd have told them that they had to make 20-foot wide lanes on each side, it really would not have mattered because it is what KDOT says on that.
Okay, back up.
Sure.
KDOT controls to the middle part of Maple Ridge.
Let me show you.
I'm
So
following.
do you see the lines here?
Yeah,
That is still all KDOT controlled up to right here, where that comes back down. You see the triangle
so
right
just
there?
past the Ochiltree part?
You see the triangle right there?
Yeah,
That's KDOT stop. Then coming down through here, it stops about right in this area here. And then it comes down through there and you really can't see it real well on this, but this is all KDOT access control.
Yeah, you don't have any.
And I really didn't think that it was correct. Actually,
yeah, that's a lot.
yeah, actually Quick Trip brought it to our attention.
Yeah, I mean, you don't
And-
have, it's out of control completely.
I didn't realize that they had,
Wow.
It's all KDOT.
That's correct. And Quick
I was
Trip,
thinking it was
actually,
just
their
true.
engineers brought it to our attention. Because, man, I was making all kinds of decisions and, whoa, slow down, we gotta talk to the state about
Good for
this. Well, good for them, well, my goodness, you guys, you're killing me here. Let me see if I can pull this in just a little bit more, maybe, and learn how to use this computer here. And there is something on here that, actually showed KDOT access, no access, but there, you can see a little better now. Once I brought it in a little more, you can see the continuation all the way around there, up to this point, and that's all a KDOT access control area.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Guess I'm done with you. So, that is, that's one of the, and that's why KDOT and Mark, it's gonna help a lot on that 199th and Webster access, and in that case, they show it 199th, barely Webster, 199th access there, to get all them involved, and Mark will help us along with it. I spoke with him a couple days ago, and, you know,
Is that all gonna be curb and guttered on the Quick Trip side?
Quick Trip side, yes, site,
Yeah,
but
like
the,
the frontage and all that? It won't be?
nope, KDOT, it's not, they had to widen that out, and, no, not all of it. It did, I mean, it did, but my first comments that going along there is quite the deal, and as you can see, there's absolutely no sidewalks along there, and there's a reason for that,
Yeah,
is, you know, we just couldn't ask them to do it, because it's not our access area.
yeah, I think this project's fantastic for the city, but yeah, it's kind of a a booger of a turning situation here, cause yeah, if you're leaving and making
Right.
It's a safety and back.
left-hand turn and you have people coming out of 199th wanting to make the right-hand turn, you know, it's,
I mean, you know everybody's gonna be coming up
So-
Webster and stopping at Quick Trip,
Right, so
get their coffee on the way into town.
where the hand is, or my marker is right there, I was working with another corporation for that part. And because of the KDOT access, they're looking at another piece right now.
Be like,
So-
going on 100 and
I mean, at this point, we know that we're gonna need signalization.
Sure.
And they're gonna do it, and, I mean, I almost wanna just call the motion to approve it, and knowing that we have concerns about signalization, but we know we're gonna get it,
what's the
Well, we'll
timeframe
get
on
it.
this? I mean,
yeah.
But no,
what's the timeframe on this? I mean, I understand things can happen.
Can you address that timeframe? Thanks. I'll look down a little bit for you. I've been touching everything. I didn't cough yet, so.
Good evening. My name is Eric Eckhart. I'm a project manager with Quick Trip. First, to answer your question in regards to timing, as long as everything goes smooth with the permit process, we anticipate starting around August. Construction process is about a 6-month for us, so we'd open February, March timeframe as long as the weather cooperates. I apologize because I just kind of downloaded everything on this project about 48 hours ago when Jessica came sick, but, do you know, is this in the slides? I think this, is this possible to put this one on the screen?
We got the little projector.
I don't know
Sure.
if I'm following right, I think that there's
Document.
one in here that may answer some of the questions on the turning. There's several improvements being done, out along.
That's okay. We should have it on here, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I
We
think
put it
it's,
in the.
we can blow it up too on our,
Yeah, I pulled this from the packet that you had sent me.
it's a PDF, right? Blow it up.
it'll be after the site.
Oh, here?
Attachments.
But. Is he
Getting there.
around back on it?
There we go.
I'll get it up here just a little bit more.
Quick Trips.
This plan kind of shows more of an overview of the entire area, and you can see some of the widening and turn lanes that'll be added along, the Webster 199th. I'm not sure exactly which turning
This-
unit you guys are
Right,
referring
this is
to.
199th. That's
Right.
Webster and 199th.
Are we talking about the turn lanes out here that'll be in, with people coming in and out of the site?
Right. Yes.
You gotta
They were
turn that
concerned
head
about
upside
right
down.
here.
So, yeah, there is a turn lane right there.
Right.
Right.
There's one in both directions, and then for the right in, right out, to the right of his cursor, there's a right turn lane into the site as well, so if I'm following correctly,
Now-
I think that answers the concern.
Right. The-
Okay,
What I want to say though is it's not typical. It's not our typical.
Better without the.
It's
better
more like I said,
Lane in there.
it's more like what I said, we're widening the back of it 8 foot.
Yeah, no, but this was my biggest concern, was this right here. Everybody's gonna come, if they're going into Kansas City, they're gonna come up this road and they were gonna have to stop right here to get in here, that's where they're gonna stop.
The only thing about that too is, if you're leaving though, and you're taking a left turn now, if someone's,
Exactly, you gotta come out at,
you know, and now your sight line's kind of, but they have the right of way, so,
Yeah.
you know, there shouldn't be traffic
Just have
there
to
when you're
wait,
taking you just have to wait for
Yeah.
that traffic.
But that's way better than.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you showed us that. Thank you.
That's from there.
Let's see why Eric's up here. Is there any other questions for?
Yeah, that's good, thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Thank you. Let's see if there's any more.
the signalization is on city's part, Quick Trip's part, or shared.
It'll be a shared, we're trying, like maybe I didn't explain it well enough. We're trying to do a area-wide street program.
Right,
So, and combined with, at a later date, Quick Trip, apartments, the city at large, as well as the state. And that's what our discussions are, what my discussions are with the state at this point. We're trying to tell the county also, because we're into another situation, that it's not three sides county this time, but there is, when you turn on to 199th, immediately you're starting to hit some county. So, and they've been really good here lately to work with. I wanted to let you guys know.
how quickly would signalization follow the completion of the project?
I don't know, to be real honest with you. I
Are
mean,
we talking 6 months, 3 years?
my guess is if I had to put a date on it, it would probably be looking at a year. As long as the apartments start soon. And we're still hashing few with you.
Well, it's all dependent on when the apartments decide to move, to do something.
That's what I said, when they decide to go.
Have you heard when they're starting on the apartment part?
Now, we're in constant contact. I talked to them again, was it yesterday? Yesterday. And, you know, just a lot of moving things. They would like to see that area-wide sewer, which we would also. It's just a tough battle. This is a very unique situation with donut holes and county property or county unincorporated property against the highway that will flow into it, and then some people just are flat against it. So,
How would that change, or would it, the lift station that services Sonic? Would you incorporate that piece into that? Or would it
Yes.
just stay separate as it is?
well, no, area-wide, we would try and eliminate some of that hodgepodge up in that area.
Okay, so we would try to,
Because obviously it runs that direction. So, yeah, we would try to give you an idea. I guess that would be a good idea if I would show you guys what I'm talking about here. And I realize that, I'll get going, but. Whoops. So we're talking about a lift station basically right down in this area here somewhere. So you can see all the ground because this ground flows this to the north, this ground flows to the south, except for right in the area up there that it bucks grade. All right, in this area here, bucks grade, it has to flow down to the, what I'll just say, Quick Trip lift station. So in getting all this ground, you know, you can see the kind of the trick to it all. Let me put, well, there should be.
Pat, not to go down a rabbit hole, but with, in regards to the signalizations, does that come back through to us at all at any point, or does it just happen?
Yeah, it will definitely come back through to you due to, due to the CIP plan.
Okay.
Well, I don't know where the layer is that I was looking for, but maybe it's the city ward here. Let me see if this is it. Nope. Okay. Well, anyway, we have these rabbit holes in here in the city, and we all know. So I have to work on that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Cindy?
Motion to recommend approval for site plan application SP 41-2020 Quick Trip Corporation site plan as presented by staff.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion that's been seconded to approve the site plan SP dash 0000041-2020 Quick Trip as presented by staff. Start the voting on the left.
Aye.
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 Motion passes 8-0. Okay, the next
Excuse me.
item on our agenda is the site plan Spring Hill Recreation Commission. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Bird.
Thank you. Sorry, I had to figure out how
Yeah,
to.
thank you, Eric.
Oh, thanks, Eric. I appreciate it. Okay. What this will be is, we looked at this back in December, and talked about it on, what would be maybe the best requirements for it, and how the construction was gonna be on it and all that. I talked to the rec commission about, maybe taking and combining the buildings. Then after we looked at it for a while there, it really wasn't as feasible as we had all thought at the beginning to combine those, structures. So we went back to the original site plan that had been proposed to you guys, and went back to it. So what we have is, the city is, right now, I'd shown you how it crossed the property lines. We're combining those two pieces of property. So the 1.7 and the 1.8 together makes a 3.5 combination of the properties. So the 3.5 is what they will be building on at the rec center. And on the second page of your staff report, it shows the two pieces of property that are under the process of being combined, and they would be working on it. Down below, the site plan hasn't changed much. The difference of all, and also on that page, you can see where a lot of the existing parking is, and how most of it is gravel. So a little bit of background on it. Like I said, they have now submitted an application for a new building at 900 North Washington. We discussed about the planning commission in December, and it was reviewed, and the planning commission agreed with the basic concepts of the proposed site. The application proposes that a new building in proximity to the existing facility at the sports complex that's owned by the city. The site plan shows increased marking on the parking and adding ADA compliance parking. In phone conversation and emails with the correspondence with the rec commission, they're planning to hard surface some of the existing gravel. This year, they had indicated a $100,000 budget to pave or asphalt the gravel lot on the southwest side of the parking that exists at the new facility. So it'd be the south side of the facility there. If we look at the plan on page 2, the aerial there, site location, it would be the south side of where the existing building is and all. They would start there and try and pave the south end of that. So, not knowing right now the exact amount that $100,000 will pave, unfortunately, oil's climbing again, right in time for asphalt season. So, it won't probably go as far as all of us would like it, but, and then, we talked about that 100,000 where they could just asphalt the gravel instead of going in, putting all the curbing in and things like that. Now, I have not received approval for that, but I believe that that is a better use of money at this time than having all the gravel there. And, curbs are bringing $15 to $18 a lineal foot. And so and then you have a 6-inch front base. So if you don't want to put 6 inches of asphalt in, let's say they decide in some of this areas that, where it's not a lane, where they're not gonna, where they mark it off and it's just true parking and it's not the lane that you drive in, they reduce it down to 5. Well, if you do that, putting curbs in, then you have to build up the inside with some sort of material, and usually it's an AB3 material or something like that, pugged AB3 so it'll compact. So all the way around, I just feel like my own personal opinion is that, or community development's opinion is that we should be able to give some leniency and variance to letting them just asphalt over the gravel. So. Then to complete it out, Planning Commission in this case, recommend approval to the governing body, recommend denial of the application to the governing body, and notify the applicant such action. Table, notify the applicant of a specific time and date. It's a recommendation of staff that the SP 42-2020 is what it should be. It should say 2020. So if we can do a correction on that.
Should say 2021.
Oh, it should? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. 42-2021 then be approved.
Any questions?
Any additional questions or comments?
So could you explain a little bit more about the property lines?
So as you can see on the second page, the property lines, you can see there's a reversed L. You have to look at your second page on your staff report. And it's marked out in blue. Those two properties we are combining. I say we, the city is combining. Because what happens right now is a portion of the proposed building that they want to build crosses over, lies on top of 2 different properties. And as we discussed in December's meeting, yes, it's all owned by one ownership and all, but we need to clean it up. I wouldn't let anyone else do that, so we will clean it up and are in the process of cleaning that up right now.
I am a little worried about the 100,000. You can't pave a lot with that.
Well, but also keep in mind that the city has absolutely nothing in their CIP for any improvements on that. So, in speaking with the rec commission, to be real honest with you, sir, I was surprised. In the back of my mind, I just had like 50,000 and, so we'll start from the street and work our way in and make it to the buildings. Hopefully we can get a little farther. And then also, I have not talked to Mr. Peel about this because I needed to talk to our city engineer. I spoke with the city engineer later this afternoon. We have several projects coming online that the timing might work out where if we were to bid this in conjunction with one of our projects, Ridgeview is a perfect one, that maybe we can stretch the amount that, the funding.
I was gonna say, I think that the city is very lucky that the rec commission is willing to take any of their funds and put onto city property. I mean, you gotta remember, this is not the rec commission's property.
And never will be.
It was at one time, but it is no longer their property. So I think that when you're getting an organization
To commit that.
to put buildings and pavement on city property,
No,
you just don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
No, I think that's all good. I just don't,
You-
I was just commenting his point.
No,
was
I agree.
asphalt price.
Yeah, no, you're
Skyrocket-
right, it's.
skyrocketed.
No, it-
But I'm just saying, I think
unfortunately-
that we would be hard pressed to.
You know,
push
last
the
summer would have
issue
been
of
great.
more.
No, that's
Right,
correct.
double.
Or if we could have locked it in,
Yeah,
or something, but they're not doing much of that right now.
no.
The other thing that I will say is that truthfully, hopefully we can combine this in with another project of what we're gonna do. We do have not a huge amount of asphalt projects, don't get me wrong, but we do have some projects coming on board. And there's a few companies that have talked to us about, coming in and doing so much of the city streets at a set price and things like that. I haven't seen it, but I'm hoping that, what I'm getting at, I'm gonna try and help the rec commission extend that 100,000 as far as we can.
Okay,
So,
great.
sure. If you would entertain Mr. Peel, please.
Yes, Mr. Peel, you have the floor.
Evening. In anticipation of this project and the asphalting project for the parking lot, we had done some preliminary work before we budgeted the $100,000 last year. So we got a bid in March of 2020 that was for a 3-inch compacted for 60,000 square feet, which is approximately 300 by 200, which hits most of that gravel lot for $86,000. We re-contacted that bidder this week to kind of assess how the price may have fluctuated with that particular bid. And he felt pretty confident that it was still not exact, but still pretty close. It could fluctuate a little bit, but it shouldn't fluctuate significantly. We also understand that there's going to be some areas, particularly where the dumpster is and for the trash truck, that we're going to have to go significantly thicker than 3 inches, for heavier trucks. But a good portion, probably 80 to 85% of that area is simply used for just parking. So we could probably get away with some of the thinner area. I can also tell you that in the last couple of years, we've made some significant budget changes. So we do have a lot more CIP capital money available to us, which is how we were able to budget the $100,000. So depending on how far we were able to get with the asphalt, if we weren't able to complete it as much as we wanted, we would certainly be looking at future years in completing it in a phased, level. Which would also include the actual ball field area inside the fence, inside where the fields are, because it's some asphalt that's in some pretty rough shape too. So over the next 3 to 4 years, we'd really like to re-asphalt the majority of that park.
Very good, thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
That's a good supplier because March of 2020 crude was about $30 a barrel, now it's 51. So that's a good supplier.
And I hope all of you bought oil stock. But, so, other than that, it's, like I said, the staff does recommend approval of it. And also, staff would like a little support on not using the curbs on that area.
All right, I don't have any other questions.
Motion to, recommend approval of site application, 42/2021 as presented by staff.
Second.
We have a motion, it's been seconded to approve the site plan SP-000042-2021 as presented by staff. Start the voting on the left.
Aye.
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 Abstention due to being on the rec commission.
Aye.
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 The motion passes 7-0-1.
Thank you very much.
I think, the next item is discussion and reports. Did you wanna go over any of those reports?
Yeah, I was trying to get it up here. I apologize. You wouldn't know that I even use a computer all day. My man. Okay. What was? Went too far, didn't I? Okay. Up. Okay, so the reports, we had a large agenda, obviously, over the last few meetings, and we took a lot of stuff to the December 10th. We took 4 final plats. We took Prairie Ridge 4, Brookwood Farms 6, Jensen Subdivision, Woodland Crossings 1, site plan for the boat, RV, and mini storage. And then also we took the economic stimulus package program to council. All were approved and exactly as you had presented or asked it to be presented to the council. Under the stimulus, we did not change from last year. It allows the builders to file and get a permit without paying the sewer. And then in a lot of districts, the city of Spring Hill still supplies the water. And it does allow the deferment of that payment also. It total, if you do the sewer alone is $58.25. Water alone is $29.05. Pretty good memory, huh? So if they combine those together, then you're at what? Thank you, $87.30. So and then what happens is that money is then collected before we'll do a final occupancy inspection. And it's been a good program. It's been very successful as far as, payment collection and things like that. And really everyone, including our newest builder, Roush Coleman, we only have one development builder / scenario that does not utilize it. So. There is a $50 fee for us filing, because we do file an affidavit of judgment against each lot to make sure that it doesn't slip through the cracks, they just move somebody in and all. But we really haven't had any major problems on it, so that did pass. It's not a giveaway of anything at all, it's just, helping the builder get down the line a little bit farther, especially through the winter months. Because, interest, I understand, is cheap or low, very low, but it still helps. They like to not have to put that out front. So, we have, would you like me to just continue mine? So we have quite a few development type scenarios that we're working on right now. There's some large commercial, very large commercial that we're working on. And hopefully we'll be bringing a lot of that to you here in the coming months. A lot of corporations, a lot of people are starting to look our way, and I actually had a company talk to me, it was right after Christmas, before New Year. And, you know, the interest has really spiked in their company because they said, well, we want to make sure that, you know, you do have a Quick Trip coming, you know, and like, well, we need to go down and take a look. So they did come down, take a look around, and I think we have a good chance of them doing something in Spring Hill as well. Now that might be on the Miami County side with that business, but it's still good for Spring Hill, and we'd like to see some growth in Miami County as well, you know. Trying to even this thing out a little bit. I mean, that's about all I can really say about the development that's coming on. I'm excited for it. I'm really trying to get it here, so.
Can you, it feels like it's been a while, the property that we kept on going back and forth on the sidewalk,
Yes, that's Brookwood Farms.
that was the Brookwood Farms?
Yes, and it is in so we started looking at that, the city engineer and I did. And just putting in the sidewalk and all, we at that point would not be able to require the 2-year maintenance bond as if they were putting it in with a development. So in Brookwood Farm 6, that is included in their development cost, bonding, and maintenance. So,
Are we talking about the same one?
No.
He might be talking about the
Oh.
little property.
We're talking about little property.
Downtown.
In Spring Hill.
in Spring
Oh.
Hill, that little.
Bear Creek, yeah, it's no big. I mean,
Did it ever,
What?
no, they haven't.
Bear
Bear Creek,
Bear Creek, yeah.
down at Washington.
Those two houses.
Right.
Two houses, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't realize it had a
Name.
They
Subdivision name.
I mean, the plat's all,
houses and all.
everything's complete and all, but there's never been a building permit application filed. A lot of that happens, you know, I mean, we got all worked up about it in a sense, and, you know, it's just, I would imagine, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I would imagine those lots will be for sale. It was, you know, they were worth 15, 20,000 apiece, now platted and all that adjusted, they're probably 35 or 40, because, you know, a typical lot's 75 and 80, so. And you don't even have to build a house on it, so, you know. That's why I really, you know, when we were talking about it, I said, you know, we need to make sure that these sidewalks get in. You know, I may be wrong, but I would imagine some other builder will be building them, and he knows that, and it will be a no-brainer. I mean, you know, we'll work with them and won't be any problem. It's just like, there's been some things at Dayton Creek that, you know, Dr. Vince, and, you know, he knows that I talk about him, in a positive manner. He's done very good for this community. And he will nitpick a few things, but then he sells a lot and the builder says, oh yeah, no problem. You know, you may spend an hour talking to him about this one little thing and the builder doesn't care one bit. Just, yep, we'll do it, no problem. So,
All right, any,
I think that's all I have, sir.
How's the development coming down there? And I don't know what it's called on South and the highway. It's not the highway, South and. I can't hear you.
Behind the, aquatic center?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's Fred Sudart's old property.
Oakwoods. That's behind the aquatic center.
Oh, I see, I don't.
Yeah,
That's behind the
it's,
Aquatic Center, but okay.
yeah, it's just west of the aquatic center. As a matter of fact, you know, we're working on tying that into the aquatic center drive, whatever that's called. I don't remember the name of it. Good, you know, I think they have 30 houses, 32 houses going, I think 10 are under final occupancy.
Good.
Maybe
It's
not
been a
moved
long
into,
time.
but, right. And the city, yeah, 15 years? I think 15 years it sat there, if I remember correctly. the city's out, they're, they're working on what they can on the road repairs, cause there are some very wide cracks in that. Excuse me, and so we're working on that as well with Roush Coleman. And right now, I'm working with them on the next phase of it. And I say the next phase, for some of you, you might remember, just as you go in on the east side, is platted out and proposed to be like a townhome area, really tight density. It
Super tight.
really didn't have the appeal that it should have had, in today's standards. They are looking at that and trying to figure out how to replat that to single family. So that should help the neighbors and everyone right there. And so we're working on that now. I saw a preliminary draft of it, drawing, sketch more. It wasn't on a napkin, but it was close. So we should get that in soon.
Nice.
You said that was across from Prairie,
No, that's behind the aquatic center.
oh, behind the aquatics.
Right, so, and we're really, staff's really pleased to get that going, due to all the, sitting there and all the different changes. And at one time, they were trying to do an RID on it, and so, and then it's also in the city's water district, so.
Well, hopefully the aquatic center's open this summer.
I think that's really in the hands of the taxpayers.
Is the construction right there off of South Street in Lone Elm that I see every single time I come down South Street when I come off the highway? Is that part of that same,
Yes,
all that same development?
yes.
Okay.
So kind of on the same note, heading north off 191st, right off Vista Drive, there was all the old road infrastructure up there where there was a trailer at one time,
Yes.
and we pulled that.
Right.
There's been some action up there, it looks
Sure.
like. What's going on there?
So, you're talking about the crossings,
Mhm.
and we were notified that there was some stuff going on. We went up and shut them down on the public improvement, or the public part of the improvements. There are some private streets in there, and, we allow them to do that, but, so I had a conversation with, the principal of that corporation, and they were to get some new cost estimates in and all, and I haven't seen anything. So, now, we do have, it's funny because there's another piece of property just to the south of that. If you were to go in like that Vista Drive and all down through there, to the south of there, there's a piece of property owned by a different development, and they're all of a sudden really interested in doing something in conjunction with getting that street down there. What I like to see about that is I've been working on the next piece of property, the Wiswell property, trying like crazy. It's Seward. Trying to get that going, somebody to purchase it and, come off of 199th with the street, blah, blah, blah. Well, I was really hoping that I'd see something from the crossings, because that street eventually ties into that development, Wiswell's property. And that is one of the major, well, there's two major hurdles on it. One is, everyone asks, how are you gonna get me into there? And then the other one obviously is, an issue, so.
Timing, did you say timing?
Well,
It's the other issue.
the other issue that's a personal issue that, I just don't wanna go into there, so.
Okay. Any other, I think we're down to the announcements section. Any announcements from commissioners or I think we got plenty from staff, right?
Yeah, I hope. It's hurting, guys, so come on. My brain's hurt.
Any other, if not, then we just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion, it's been seconded to adjourn, start the voting on the left.
Aye.
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 I,
Motion passes 8.
I want to thank all of you and to keep in mind, the mics still run for a while. So, thank you.